This is a low-res picture of me. I didn't know she'd have that. Okay, analytics, Google Analytics. I've been doing analytics for 16 years since it had a small a. It was not a Google product, right? We say analytics now, I always type it with a capital A because we're talking about GA, Google Analytics. But I remember back in the day when it was like web trends. And you pointed this software like at a pile of log files, and it downloaded these log files, which took 10 minutes. And then it ran reports on them, which took 45 more minutes. And then it gave you a Word document, and you analyzed that. Like that was what it was like back in the day, back in 2000 and 2001 when I started doing this stuff. Since then, it's all amazing, real-time, online, cloud-based, and it's super fun. But it's a big gap. There's a big gap. Not everyone knows. It's not necessarily obvious, but analytics is the one thing more than all the others that employers are looking for that candidates don't have, that executives need, that their teams aren't providing. So hopefully after this, you guys will all be a bit more comfortable with these tools, and you'll all help close this gap. That's what we're trying to do here, is close that gap and make all of you more adept at using analytics for analysis. So 2 numbers matter most. The first number is the total number of people that come to our platform, our website. And the second number is the percentage of those people who take action. Traffic times the conversion rate equals success, equals leads, equals e-commerce sales, equals nonprofit donors, equal event registrants. These are the 2 most important numbers, and every serious marketer I know is trying to maximize these 2 things, right? If it doesn't affect one of these 2, I really would question why we're even doing it. This is the point. This is the main thing. These are the biggest picture look at analytics in general. What my case here is that most people are using analytics wrong. They're not using it for analysis. So here's my biggest message for you guys is analytics is actually useless. It does nothing. It does not affect your marketing at all if you're just looking at charts. Because charts don't affect marketing. Reports don't affect marketing at all. Who's done this? Who's done this today? Who does this every day? You go look at your analytics and you see a line going up and you smile, or you see a line going down and you frown. I do it all the time. I have it on my phone, right? I have analytics installed on my phone, and I do this every day, right? It's like you're happy or you're sad, and then you go back to like sending email. We all do this all the time. That actually does not affect your marketing. That actually makes no difference at all. That doesn't do a thing. Reports don't affect analytics or don't affect marketing outcomes. This does. So what I want to suggest is that we use analytics for analysis. That's what the name suggests. That's a novel idea, right? So what we do is we get an idea. I'm in conference rooms every day where someone has an idea. And then we ask a question that will support or reject that idea, and then go find the answer. Go find the answer. Question, answer, and then either, whoa, that's not a good idea after all, let's not do that, or wow, that's a great idea, let's take an action on that, and then we can use analytics again to measure the impact. Question, answer, action. That's the structure of this presentation. And I'm going to do that, I think, like 12 or 13 times. I have just different sample questions, sample answers, and then actions. Avinash Kaushik puts it, I love this guy. Some of these ideas are from him. He says that if you see a data puke, you're looking at reporting. If you see words in English outlining actions, you're looking at analysis. So first we're going to start with the pop quiz, right? Are we looking at a data puke, or are we looking at analysis? What's that? Data puke. There's no analysis. That's a super popular data puke. That's like the default view in analytics. Data puke or analysis? Data puke. A very expensive data puke. This is Omniture, right? But just a data puke. These are just reports. This does not affect your outcomes. Data puke or analysis? Rainbow sherbet colored unicorn flavored data puke, but still just a data puke, right? How about this one? Analysis, create new pages. We see a recommendation down here, right? This is actually using analytics to get an outcome. Data puke or analysis? Data puke and analysis. There it is over there, the hybrid report. Data puke at the top, analysis at the bottom. That's the difference. Data puke over here, analysis is on the right, actions we should take. This is why people ask all the time, how often should I look at analytics? I get this question all the time. How often should you look at analytics? As often as you have an idea or are testing a hypothesis. Who drove here today? How often did you look at your dashboard? Do you ever say to yourself, it's my job, I got to look at my dashboard, and my car's parked over there, got to go out and look at my dashboard, and I did my job today. That's totally crazy. That's crazy, right? Why? Because you're not driving, right? You have to use it now. We use these tools when they're relevant. So whose job is this stuff? It's everybody's job. It's everybody who's in marketing. All the time people are saying, I want to outsource analytics. I don't want to think about it. I feel guilty whenever the main psychology around this stuff is guilt. I just don't want to think about it. I want to outsource it. I want to abdicate or delegate this to someone else because I don't want to think about it anymore, right? If that person drove here today, this is what their car would look like. I don't have time to look at my dashboard. I am too busy driving. That's ridiculous. You look at your dashboard every time you are wondering how much gas you have. How fast are you going, right? Is the engine running hot? OK, so we're going to turn ideas into questions. We're going to find the answers and then take action. We're going to use basically these 4 reports down here. Audience, acquisition, behavior, conversions. Now, I'm not like a pro-funnel guy either. I totally respect the anti-funnel. Like, life's way more complicated than a funnel. But this is exactly what Google's trying to do here. And how clever, right? They have 2,000 math PhDs on staff, and they were able to figure this out. It's alphabetical. A, B, C, acquisition, audience, acquisition, behavior, conversions. This is where people come from, what people are doing, and then what actions they take. So we're going to break it down by that. Who's visiting? Where did they come from? What did they do while they were here? And what percentage of these people took action? What were the actions they took? So this is kind of funnel-like. They deliberately designed it that way, and that's why it's structured as such. Audience reports. We're going to do these first. First of all, analytics changed the language in there, and maybe you knew this, but they don't call them visitors anymore. They're all called users. Same thing. I use them interchangeably. They don't call them visits anymore. They call them sessions. I use them interchangeably. They're the same thing. It's because it's universal analytics now. It's not just for websites. It's for apps. App users don't have visitors. On an app, you're a user. So whatever, same difference. Question number 1. We're going to warm. This is like a warm-up. Are visitors using mobile devices? Very simple. Just every one of these reports, we're going to find the answer with just a few clicks. That is a question about our visitors. So we're going to audience. Mobile overview. By the way, here's my structure at the top. I've got a little breadcrumb trail for you. We'll share the slides that show exactly what report I'm looking at. Audience, mobile, overview. That's why you see that there at the top with those little carrots in between. So the answer is right here. What percentage of our visitors are using mobile? But I love to use these views. There's 5 little buttons here. Anyone ever click these buttons? Magical. Amazing, right? The pie chart percentage view then shows me at a glance right there. 80% of the visitors on this website are on desktop, 16%, 17% on phones, 3.5% on tablets. Question answered. Are mobile visitors less engaged? This is way more interesting. Question 2. Are they less engaged than other visitors? Same report. But now I'm going to click on the comparison view, which has these little lines going back and forth. The second to last view. These are called views. I click on the comparison view, and now I can compare any of the metrics that I would have gotten on the data view. This was the data view. Looks like a spreadsheet. So all of these top columns here are available to me in this dropdown when I switch to the compare view. Bounce rate, pages per visit, average visit duration. Pages per session, average session duration. Those are like the engagement metrics. That's how happy people are. That's what people are doing on the website. Those reports would all come out of the behavior, but they're right here for us. Choose any of these, and you can see at a glance. Compared to the average visitor, where the bounce rate is on this site 80%, mobile visitors are bouncing 7% more often. Desktop visitors and tablet visitors about the same. Choose another one from that dropdown. Oops. Average session duration. Tablet visitors are spending more time, 20% more time than the average visitor. Click, click, question, answer, analysis. So the actions we could take from that are to check the landing pages on mobile devices. Also, these numbers change over time to create a schedule for testing these again later. You're going to see this over and over. So I've got these little action slides here to give you guys some practical takeaways. Question 3, is the site working well in every browser? We're a web design company, and we have to test sites in every browser. It's a huge headache, giant cost to us. Have to make sure it's working properly. But those engagement metrics are useful for me here because I can see those same things for browsers. Audience, technology, browser, and OS. Here are all the browsers. I can switch this to the comparison view for bounce rate and see, Android browser, 10% more people than average are bouncing when they use that browser. This is the weird, crappy browser that we should all delete from our phones if you're using an Android. Like, why did they make that browser? We should all just use Chrome on our phones. The action, are they having a tough time? The action should be obvious. Test the site for browsers with higher bounce rates. You can identify major problems, browser compatibility problems, in seconds. These reports take me only seconds to reach, right? Other questions we can ask our audience reports. Are millennials visiting our website? What are they doing? We'd use a segment for that. We'll do this again someday with segments. How many of our visitors are local, national, or international? What times of day are people in a certain section, for example, the blog? All these available within just a few clicks, and then you can imagine the actions you would take based on those. You can imagine the actions you would take. It's the actions that affect our marketing. Okay, maybe I will make my plane. We're already into the acquisition reports. The next section. Question number 4 is, what social network drives the most traffic? Do you guys know this for your own sites? Yeah, it's obvious, right? All you have to do is look at the acquisition channels report. These are all the channels. Several reasons why this data is a little bit inaccurate. If we have time, I could answer this, explain why every number in analytics is inaccurate. That's totally fine. We don't need super accurate data. We just need accurate enough to take an action. And I see social, right? It's going to do its best to put all the social visitors into this bucket. Very difficult for it to know what visitors are from social. Social's platform agnostic. But if you click on social, here they all are. Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Pocket, Scoopit, Pinterest, Paperly. So here are all of your social visits for whatever date range you chose at the top, right? The timeline view up there above has the date range. And now if I switch to the percentage view here, voila, there are what percentage of visitors come from each social network. This round trip to get to this report, 10, 15, 20 seconds maybe, and there's the data that I'm looking for. Way more interesting question is this. Which social network is sending us the best visitors? Now, this is not just an engagement metric of like bounce rate pages per visit. This is like a conversion metric of who's taking action from different social networks. I'm going to show you how to measure the quality of visitors from each social network with just a few clicks. So here we are back in the all traffic channel social report, and here's all these visitors. Over here on the right, I set up goals on my website, and I have a drop-down that shows me each of my goals. The easiest way to set up goals in Google Analytics is to have a destination goal. In other words, visitors who came to the site made it to a destination. They made it to a page. They made it to a different URL. Which is why we all have to build websites that have thank you pages, not little thank you messages. Little thank you message on the same page, not easily trackable in analytics. A totally separate thank you page, way better. First of all, it's easy to track. Secondly, you can put a thank you. You can put more marketing on that page, right? There's all kind of, that form submission can store to a database that can send the person an auto-response email. I've got a list somewhere of like the 7 reasons why websites should have thank you pages, not thank you messages. So here we are. We can see the conversion rate, right? I could check for any goal I set up, leads, donors, subscribe, whatever it might be. This is newsletter subscribers. And I can see what percentage of newsletter subscribers took that action from these social networks. There they are. Twitter, 0.7%. Facebook, 0.56%. LinkedIn, 1.25%. Wow. That's like twice as much as Twitter. A LinkedIn visitor is twice as likely to subscribe to the newsletter on this website as a visitor from Twitter. It's pretty valuable information, right? I just learned in just a few clicks that actions and promotion and activity in social network A is worth twice as much as visitors from social network B. Big difference, right? I can be much more efficient with my time by allocating resources accordingly. Now let's say I choose a different goal. For example, lead. This is for a B2B website. The conversion rate from visitor into lead from social is extremely low. Look, visitors from Facebook, it's only I think it's 1 in 5,000 visitors from Facebook become a B2B lead on this website. Anyone surprised by that? That is not surprising at all. Every social media, every analytics account I've seen looks just like this. For B2B websites, the conversion rate from social sources is extremely low. Why? Those people don't really have intent. Those people are kind of browsing around. Those people are just like sort of clicking through, right? There's not as much, it's not the same as someone who searches and has their fingers on a keyboard. If you go up a level and choose organic traffic, you'll see conversion rates totally normal. Conversion rates from these sources are way higher, right? It's B2B especially, but B2C as well. People who are looking for things, they're typing something, they have intent, and they're much more likely to convert into a lead. On the other hand, social is an amazing source of newsletter subscribers. You can attract tons of visitors who take that action. So obviously, and I'm not just I love social, but not just for traffic's sake. I love social for the sake of networking. I love social for PR. I love social for relationship building. I love social for influencer marketing, for blogger relations, for research. Right? There's millions of benefits of social media that go beyond what shows up in analytics. For example, friendship. I love that. You know, that's a plus. So focus on the other benefits of social media, also resource allocation. If you're in a cutthroat, like blood sport of an industry and you need sales now, you might want to shift some resources away from social budgets driving traffic to, or social advertising to pay-per-click, search advertising perhaps. So that's an example of an action we could take that would give us much better results. I love this report. What phrases are we ranking for? People complain all the time. Google took all my keyword data. Where's my keyword data? The answer is there's still tons of keyword data in analytics. It's just not where it used to be. Remember that channels report, all traffic channels, it had organic. We clicked on organic. It wouldn't show us any keywords in there. It all says not provided. Are you familiar? Yeah, Google does not. They favor privacy and anonymity over sharing data with marketers. But we still get a lot of data in the queries report. It shows us all the phrases we rank for. It just doesn't show us what they did after they clicked. It doesn't show us the time on page, the conversion rate, the pages per visit. But it still shows us impressions, how many times we appeared in Google search results, clicks, how many times people clicked on that, average position as in ranking. It shows us our ranking. It's right there. The queries report, all the phrases you rank for and how high you rank. Wow. Very useful data. Really, really powerful information. Just imagine what we can do with this. Now, I'm going to run a little filter. Are you guys familiar with, it's covered behind this thing. If this is a filter. Put in a word, it will show you just those things in this column for that word. If you want to filter for one of the other columns, you can do so by clicking on the advanced link there, and then you get something that looks like this. So now I can include a different column, average position, that one over there. Not to include everything, but just include things that are greater than 10. OK, if your rank is greater than 10, where do you rank? Page 2 of Google. And the joke, you've heard it. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. You're not getting found there. No one's visiting. This is not a good place to be, right? So here's all the phrases for which I rank on page 2 or below. So that's a pretty amazing report, especially since you can click. You have to click it twice to sort ascending. And you see it starts with, it's like blackjack, right? You're looking for like 11s and 12s. So these are great. You're ranking at the top of page 2. If you rank on the top of page 2, you are like minutes away from ranking on page 1. You didn't even know you were ranking there anyway. This a small effort can lead to a little bit higher ranking, which puts you from that tipping point, right, from page 2 to page 1. So just search for that phrase to confirm the ranking, find the corresponding page, and then go make it a better page. Add detail, add length, add a quote from an influencer, add video, put more internal links, do anything to make that page a bit better. I made a video about this once, I could share it. I think it's pinned at the top of my Twitter feed, how to rank higher in Google in 5 minutes. It sounds like I'm kidding. I'm totally real. It works. I do it all the time for clients all the time. And it's the fastest way to get more traffic that I know of by far. It's also very durable because usually a lot of these phrases, the ranking doesn't change that often. So that's actionable. We can ask our acquisition reports all kinds of things. Which email campaigns pulled the most visits? Campaign tracking, right? Which pull visitors who dig deeper? Also campaign tracking. Which sites have linked to us recently? This report was just removed from Analytics, a trackback report, but we can still see which sites are sending us the most referral visitors. Those are potential partners. Those are people you can reach out to. Those are relationships you can build. Those are our friends. Those are people we love. Behavior reports, what people are doing on the website, right? So what are people looking for on your site? Who has a little search tool? You guys have a search? Anyone have a search box on their website? OK. That search box is put there so that people can find stuff more easily, right? And it's a service you offer to them, and then they're happy about that, right? But it's also a listening tool. You can listen. You can see what people are searching for by running a simple report that will show you everything everyone's typed into that. That's really, really useful information. This is for a travel website. It's under behavior site search terms. These are all the phrases that people search for in the little search box on this company's website. Now, there's a special trick where you can add a secondary dimension, which is another column. I've already got it here, but this is a dimension, they call it, right? This is a metric, it's a number, and everything else, these are dimensions. If I want to add another dimension, as in I want to put a column, another column on this report from a different section in analytics, I can do so by adding a secondary dimension. Just search for it. I typed in exit, and I found the exit. And then I click add, and it shows me the exit page data for all of these search phrases. Now, people are searching for these things, and then they're exiting from where? Well, this person left on 53 of these people left from that travel page, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. These people left from the search results page. These are the phrases that people searched for and then left the site immediately. Killer data, right? Just imagine what you can do with that. What are you going to do with that? This is a list of all the ways in which your website is unsatisfying. I wish I had this report for like everything in my life. Run this on my wife, like, oh no, I need to fix that. So obviously, these are questions people are asking that you're not answering. How long did this report take to generate? 45 seconds, maybe, like less than that, right? The data's right there. So now, in many cases, I didn't grab the right screenshots, but this travel company also had packing list was the thing that people were searching for and then leaving immediately. Why? Because they didn't call it that. They had a page, but it wasn't optimized for that. All they had to do was to optimize their own content for their own search tool on their own website. Now that's a flavor of SEO that we can all get behind, right? Optimize your own stuff for your own search tool. You might already have that page. Is it ranking? Go search, right? Go emulate your visitors. Empathy is the greatest marketing skill. Pretend you're the visitor. Go search for that stuff. Type each of these in. You might already have a page that you could just help, indicate the relevance. That's what SEO is really about. Indicate the relevance for that topic. Or maybe you didn't have the page at all. Publish more content on that topic. Adapt your content strategy. You know this is what people want on your site. Are they finding it? Did you answer that question? Right? Whoever answers the questions of their audience the best wins, basically. Why do visitors act? Why do people convert? It's because their questions were answered, because they saw evidence. There weren't distractions. There was a clear call to action. But their questions were answered. Are they reading what we're writing? OK, this is not one report. This is like real analysis that takes like more than an hour to create. But if you do it, it's brilliant. There are two things that we're seeing on this report. One is the percent content consumption, and the other is percent published. OK, these are percentages. Now, this website has sections, or this blog has categories, and here they are across the bottom. I'm going to organize them that way. The bars are going to be the total page views as a percentage to each one of those sections. Do this in like Excel, and you can see, OK, 3% of people are on our looks and trends page, and 30% of people are looking at our samples and offers page. That's your percent content consumption. Just that concept is brilliant, right? That's really useful. What percentage of what we have published are people looking at? Are people reading? Are people consuming? Compare that to the total number of pages in that section or category. A little bit tricky to get this data, but if you can put it together, what you end up with is basically you can see at a glance the gaps between what you think people want to hear from you and what people are really, really getting. What would you could do analysis on this in like 2 seconds. Either we should be doing a better job we should publish more content in samples and offers. We should publish less content about our products. Or maybe we have great stuff in this content. We should just do a better job of promoting it, right? Content promotion is the other half of the battle. Or you might have your own ideas. You can imagine your brain does it instantly, right? You get excited about analysis like I am. We're totally pumped. We're going to use analytics the right way. Publish more content on those topics. Promote the high-value content better. There's people all the time. I had a client that were like, oh, Andy, you said video testimonials were like the atomic bomb of marketing. We believed you. We made these 2 amazing video testimonials, but nothing happened. Like, well, where are they? Oh, well, if you go to the blog and choose case studies for the section, and then go to the second and third case studies, on page 2 of each of those case studies is a video testimonial. I'm like, who's ever going to see that? That's a terrible place to put it. We'll talk about that in a second. So this is another example of how you could potentially reconsider your content strategy. What does your website really mean to your audience? You might have to accept that you aren't what you thought you were to these people. So which posts are the most engaging? Analytics tries to make this easy for us to see. If you go to behavior, we're looking at what works. This is where all the pages are. This is like one of the most important places in analytics, all pages. I'd say the channels report, if I was stuck on a desert island and I could only bring like 2 analytics reports with me, I'd bring the channels report and I'd bring maybe the all pages report. So if you look at all your pages, now if your website is nicely constructed so that all the blogs are in a directory /blog, you can just type the word blog and you can see all of your blogs at a glance. Now, the comparison view over there is going to help me see the time on page, how much time people spent on these pages. So each of these blog posts, some of these articles people spend a lot more time with than others. Whoa! 5 of these are in the same category. People are really interested in this topic in general. Was that obvious? It might have been. You might have kind of gotten your gut feeling from that by like what's getting shared, what are the top pages in general, what are people interacting with, what is getting comments. But that showed you very directly, which now you know, publish more content on those topics. Or do more to promote those low traffic but high value pages. Right? You might have a page that's like amazingly compelling with like great stuff on it, original research. It's got videos, but it's just not getting traction. Let's do a better job of promoting it. So now we know. So let's look at this now. What's the top path through the website? This is another one that I think everyone should immediately know. If I ask you this question, you should be able to like rattle the answer off. What is the most popular, most common path through your website? If I ask you what the busiest street in Chicago is, you'd tell me instantly, right? You'd know. But people, if you owned a store, and I said, well, what aisle do people tend to walk down in your store? You'd know. Because you can see it. You're behind the counter. You'd watch people do it every day. But because websites are like this virtual pixel-based thing in the cloud, people don't often know what the most popular path is through the website, but you should. You definitely should. If your website was a city, there'd be a highway flowing through it. How could you not know what that highway was? That's a problem. It's a big problem. So here is a report that will show you, behavior flow. The behavior flow report, it's just under the behavior report, shows you actually where people are flowing through the website. Red is a drop-off, slash is the home page. And it shows you second interaction, third interaction, fourth interaction. If you click on one page, you can explore just traffic through that one page, for example, the home page. And now I can see where people are going through this website. I can see where people are flowing through the website. When you know what your most popular path is, now you know what actions you can take. You know where the highway is. You know where to put the billboards. You've got that video testimonial. Where do you put a video testimonial? It's your best foot forward, right? Put it somewhere in that most popular path through your website. Put your most compelling piece of content, that juicy statistic, that bit of evidence, those 8 words that prove that they need you. Make that the most prominent thing on the most important popular pages where people are flowing through. This could mean rebalancing your navigation. You've got 7 things across the top of your website in your navigation. Whoa, 3 of them never get clicked? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Maybe we should relabel those. Maybe we should remove something. Make it a rule to never add anything new to your web page until you remove something else. If you don't do that, your website's going to get rusty and old and need to be redesigned. This is why websites get old, is because people don't have the discipline to take something off before they add something new. Like a third of our clients say, oh, we love Apple. Build us a clean, modern design because we love Apple. It's like a huge % of our clients put this in their kickoff questionnaire. What do they want? White space. Why do they want that? Because they kept putting more crap all over their pages. This is what we talked about, calls to action, a hierarchy of calls to action. What do you really want the person to do? If you've got 11 things they can do and 1 thing you want them to do, there's a number for that. It's called the attention ratio. You have an attention ratio of 11 to 1. Is that an ideal conversion optimization plan? Not really. You've got 8 things in your navigation and 4 of them never get clicked anyway. Maybe you should just get rid of those and more directly guide people down a path. There aren't slides for this. I'm just ranting now. I should stop. We're going back to this presentation. OK, billboards on highways. Oh, this is also obvious later on. You can see, if you look at those reports enough, you'll notice nobody's going to your testimonials page. The worst place to put a testimonial is on a testimonials page. Why? Because nobody goes there. It smells like marketing. Get rid of your testimonials page and fill the site. Make every page a testimonials page. Never make a marketing claim without supporting it with evidence. Where should the evidence go for that claim? Right there in the text, right pixels away from the claim you made. You would never say, oh, this is a great product, and if you don't believe me, go down the hall, take a left, there's someone there who's going to tell you it's a good product. Like, that's ridiculous. No one's going to do that. So blow up your testimonials page. Pro marketers wouldn't do this. We don't build them for our clients, and I don't recommend that you add one. Okay, we're getting on to it. Here are the conversion reports. Which of your posts are inspiring action? Okay. Now, on the far right, we have a little column called page value. If you assign a value, like a dollar value, to each of your goals, then it will try to tell you, like, let's say a goal is worth $1. Google's going to try to tell you that a visit to this page is worth how much? 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent. They all say the same thing. They all say less than 1 cent. I'm filtering for blog. Whoa, if a subscriber is worth $1, all these visits to these pages are worth less than a penny. I can't really do analysis on that. That's not really useful to me. I don't know what action to take. So I'm going to find a better way to measure the inspiration level of my posts by going to the reverse goal path. This report is money. This is gold. If I go to reverse goal path, I can see what the action people took, the thank you page, right? We set up thank you pages, what they made it to, and what they were doing right before they did it. So let's add a filter. So I'm going to click on the goal from the drop down there. We'll choose newsletter subscriber. Now I'm just seeing the newsletter subscriber who's connected to this thank you page. That's the URL of the thank you page. Okay? Goal previous step 1 is what they did right before they went there. We can filter that again so that a different column, not the first column, but a different column is filtered by making this one just goal previous step 1, this other column. I love advanced filters. It's super simple. Just contains blog. So I'm only going to see the blog posts people were reading before they became a newsletter subscriber. There's a plain English sentence version for each of these reports I'm running, right? You could translate it into normal English. The question I'm asking Analytics now is, which of my blog posts are most inspiring? As in, what was the previous step on the blog that people were at before they ended up at the newsletter thank you page? Voila. There's all the data right there. 76 people who went to this page made it to the thank you page. 28 people who went to this page here, this post, made it to the thank you page. Read the post, subscribed to the newsletter. Now, that is the conversion raw number, total number. But it's not the conversion rate. It's not the percentage. I need the percentage. So to get the percentage, I have to find the number of page views in a different report. And now I can compare. I'm going to do it in Excel. Blog post, there's the total number of page views. There's the total number of subscribers. Divide subscribers, I always get this wrong. Divide page views by subscribers or subscribers by page view? Subscribers by page view? Right. To get the conversion rate. There's the conversion rate from visitor to subscriber per blog post. People always say, oh, it's so hard to measure the performance of content. Not really. There it is. That's it. That's the performance of content right there. And look at the variance. 1/3% of people who read that subscribed. None of the people who read that one subscribed. That is not a very compelling post. Get more data. Put all of your top blog posts and all of your top, based on subscriber, and you'll see a huge variance, right? In the top 20, plot it on a chart. You don't have to plot it on a chart to get the data, but this shows you, right? It's one of those many power curves in marketing, or it's a big difference at the top. 0.75% of people who read this subscribed. Even in the top 20, right? It's 3 times as compelling as that one down there. These are the best mousetraps. You've got content that inspires action. These are the ones, they're not necessarily high traffic, but they're the ones that catch the most mice when mice show up. So obviously, we just need to drive more traffic to these posts. You all know how to drive traffic to content, right? You've built social networks. Just put that piece into heavy social rotation. Put it in your email signature. Put it on your homepage. You got a $100 gift card for Facebook ads, right? Like Google sends these things. Like, buy traffic to it. Do whatever you can, but these are the ones that if you get traffic to them, you get way better results. Publish more content on those topics. Or, time out, I just showed you how to find the best mousetraps, and earlier we saw the best cheese. What about just making an internal link that connects your highest value, your highest traffic content to your highest converting content? Traffic times the conversion rate equals success. Sometimes it just takes 10 minutes. All you have to do is to create connections between, right? Put the best cheese on the best mousetraps. All you need to do is to know which of these are successful in those ways, and you can make those connections. I guess I had a slide for that one. Forgot I had that slide. Okay, in the same way, I can do the same report for the lead generation funnel. I just wouldn't filter for blog posts, and I wouldn't choose newsletter subscriber as the goal. I would choose service pages and choose the lead generation as the goal, and I would get the same exact data. I would see which of my product or service pages are the most compelling, most effective at getting visitors to become leads or customers. There's two kinds of pages on the internet, right? There's helpful, useful pages, and there's sales pages, right? There's two kinds of key phrases on the internet. There's question mark, research-related phrases, and there's $ buyer-related, I want to spend money phrases, right? So there's two kinds of visitors on the internet. People who are ready to buy and people who are just looking for more research, answering their questions. And there's two kinds of conversions on the internet. Visitors who take action and subscribe to a subscribe to a blog or follow or comment, or there's people who become a lead or a donor or a customer, an e-commerce customer. This is the same exact thing with a different kind of, just different funnels. If anyone here have an e-commerce website? You have an e-commerce website. I know Dell has an e-commerce website. I've spent lots of money there. I know that one. So obviously, you can build funnel visualization. Shows you that all the different steps in a funnel. If you set them as required steps, it will show you that these are the steps. And you can see where the drop-off rate is, right? It's a step drop report. And there's ways to then optimize your funnel based on this. This one, there's not tons of obvious data here, but as an example, it's very few. But of the 270 people who came to this page, 3 of them went to current offers. Maybe if I answered that question earlier, maybe I could keep that visitor. Maybe I could keep them from diverting themselves off to this other channel. This is the data that you get from this. The analysis that you could get from this would be pretty obvious in some case. And it's possible. And is there a problem? It's possible to build super tall funnels. I built a 22-step funnel for an auto insurance website the other day, and it's amazing. So, wow, I think we need to change the call to action on step 8, and it worked. It's beautiful. Data is beautiful. So reduce the number of steps, simplify, remove distractions, right? Work down your attention ratio, and answer top questions earlier. Maybe that person wasn't ready to get into the funnel. Maybe they're backing out because they need more information. We could ask our conversion reports all kinds of questions. What hour of day of week, or month of year are visitors most likely to take action? Seasonality jumps off the page when you look at analytics. And are people buying right away? There's reports to see how many visits it took before someone took that final action. So the goal here, the point, ultimately what we want to do is empathy, I said. Empathy is the greatest marketing skill, but not just gut. It's data-driven empathy. Smart marketers use a combination of an analytical process and a creative process. That's what good marketers do. An even better marketer uses lots of data, right? Creative, it's much more important than the creative process. This is a very bad marketer. I don't know, sometimes they're good. It's like the Don Drapers. They just have like this gold gut and they just know everything they do is amazing, and I don't know how they do it, but you can't scale that. It doesn't really work that well. I can't do that. So we know, for example, we do a survey every 2 years. Anyone taken our blogger survey? Thank you, Hope. There's a few. So we do a blogger survey of 1,000 bloggers every year, and we've learned that people are spending more time on their blog posts every year. Look at this. More people are spending 2 to 3 hours. Some people like me, we're spending more than 6 hours. It's way too much work. It's way too much work to not apply the data, to not do the analysis. And so never bring an opinion to a data fight. I'm obviously a child of the 80s. This is like, what movie? The Untouchables. Right, love this. And it's also how to win every marketing argument for the rest of your life. Opinion versus opinion, the highest paid opinion wins, right? You call it the hippo, the highest paid opinion in the room. So opinion versus data, the data wins. Data versus data, the best data wins. Literally, if I'm in a meeting and someone states an opinion, like this warning goes off in my mind where I'm going to take that with a grain of salt and like, well, can we support that somehow? Or are you just suggesting a hypothesis? Is this like, what are we really doing here? That's how to do real marketing, right? So I have other slides, but we're going to go way over if I get into this whole your analytics is inaccurate thing. It's kind of depressing anyway. Do you want to take, Hope, do you want to catch up here, get these guys to lunch, or take a couple questions?
Do you have a couple of people have questions?
There's one.
Yeah, we can take the question.
Go ahead.
But if you can repeat the question, because people can't.
I'm happy to repeat it.
I also have done analytics for a long time as well, and I wanted to get your opinion on how you weed out the bad data.
Oh, sure. That's what these next slides would have been. The question is, how do you get good data from bad data? Answers. Make sure that you have analytics. OK, analytics doesn't know who's on your website. They just know someone came. Using universal analytics, if your site has people log in, there's a way to assign a user ID to catch them as they travel across different devices. I know very few clients that have this opportunity. Also, finally, make sure that you're filtering out traffic. Here's another one. Filter out traffic from your own audience, right? From your own office. Set an IP address for your office so that you got better audience data. That's an obvious thing, right? Go to just search Google for what is my IP, and it will show you your IP address. Make sure you're filtering out traffic from yourself. There are sometimes websites show that there's tons of referrals. These are usually robots. In analytics, under the view settings, you can click a little box. They should do this by default. It's crappy they don't. Exclude hits from all known bots and spiders. That improves the quality of your data. Those really shouldn't be in your analytics. The ICANN, the International Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, manages a list of all known bots and spiders, and this excludes them from analytics. So those are some of the main ways that I would do that. Make sure you're not in there. Make sure that the robots are not in there. But other than that, I mean, there's tons of stuff that's just totally inaccurate, always will be. Tracking campaigns is effective. That helps, using campaign tracking code, the URL builder. But great question, long answer. Drop me a line. I'll share an article that has some suggestions. Another question?
Okay, we'll have one more question.
One more.
Last question.
Final question.
Outside of GA, what is your favorite top social listening tool or tools that you use?
Well, so if you take the Twitter rule of thirds, or the social media rule of thirds, some of your content is stuff that you're just self-promoting, your own stuff. Some of it is sharing content from friends and influencers and industry news that your audience might need. And the other third is conversation. So I'm promoting my own content, I'm promoting content of others, and I'm talking to people. Those are the three main types of posts.
Technology vendor.
Right. Edgar is how I automate the first third. I use meetedgar.com to automatically schedule tons of my own self-promotional content. It's $50 a month. Very powerful tool so that I really spend all my time in social focus on the next 2/3, which are sharing stuff from influencers and friends that I'm promoting, and then finally just talking to people. So I use edgar.com, which is it's a social media automation platform for that first type of content. And you guys are going to eat some barbecue now, which is way better than social media.
Okay, and grab some for your way to the trainer.
Thanks, guys. This was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.